Today we have another book video and I'm going to be doing a reading wrap-up for 3 months. So I do quarterly reading wrap-ups. If you want to see my wrap-up from January, February, and March, I'll link it down in my bio below. But for this video, we're going to be talking about April, May, and June. So I read 15 books in these 3 months. I feel like I'm a pretty avid reader, but I know a lot of people read like a bunch of books, and like maybe a person can read like 15 books in a month. That's not me. But I can read 15 books in 3 months, and I want to talk about the books that I read. I have some notes here because I can't memorize everything, but I want to give some statistics on the kind of books that I've been reading, so the genres. In total, I read 7 literary fiction books, 2 historical fictions, which are my fave, 2 romances, 1 magical realism, 1 dystopian, 2 fantasy, and 1 thriller. The one that surprised me the most was the thriller. I really love like thriller mystery books, and I didn't read any these 3 months. I don't know why. In my head I thought like I was reading too many, but I didn't even read any. So I think I'm gonna make it a mission for the next 3 months to read more thriller books. We're actually going to be changing angles a lot because yeah, I don't have a lot of space. Ignore this. This is literally all like clean sheets and blankets and pillows, and we have no space to put them, and I don't know, so it's just in the corner. And I was trying to avoid this, but I couldn't. So the first book that I read in April was Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Now, I had really high expectations for this book itself because I only heard good things. I rated it 3.5 stars, and we basically follow Eleanor. She's like this middle-aged woman who doesn't have a lot of relationships with people, and she has a very complicated relationship with her mother, and she's just a girl that likes routine. She goes to work, she does her things in the evenings, like basically all alone, and she decided that she actually wants to start dating, and she fixates on a person and she wants to develop social skills to date that person and to be with someone, basically. And that concept itself is really interesting. I'm gonna tell you right now, Eleanor is definitely quite a character. Moving on to the second book that I read The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I rated this book 5 stars, no surprise there. I love historical fictions, I love Kristen Hanna. So honestly, I was already going in with really high expectations, and it did not disappoint at all. We follow a mother-daughter duo get glimpse into their lives throughout the Dust Bowl, and it's just such a heartbreaking story. And I feel like typically for historical fictions I tend to connect more with the characters because everything just seems real, because it was a real situation, it was a real time period in history, and I think that's what allows me to connect with characters. And when I tell you, I was so upset sometimes with the daughter. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? I don't know. But I really enjoyed the book. Like, it felt real. I don't know if I cried, but I'm pretty sure I felt like a lot of emotions when I was reading the book. I was obsessed. Like, are you kidding? I feel like sometimes I have a hard time reading at night. I really have to be into a book to want to read at night, to prefer it over like scrolling on my phone. And this was definitely the book that I preferred over scrolling on my phone. And then I read She Gets the Girl, which I rated 4 stars. This is a queer romance. I absolutely adored this book so much. I think in my other videos I was talking about how when I think about romance books I call them rom-coms, but this one is actually a rom-com. It is the sweetest thing, it is the funniest thing, it's so awkward, and there's like this whole plot to help like these 2 people meet, and they're both queer, but they're friends, and they're trying to help one of the girls get a date with someone that she's had a crush on for such a long time, and the other girl just wants to like be a good friend to her and show her girlfriend that, look, I can have friends and I don't have to flirt with everyone. Yeah, but you can guess where that goes from there. It's such a good book. I really enjoyed it, and I remember reading this as an audiobook. The final book that I read in April was The Lion Woman of Tehran. Oh my god, I love this book. And again, this is the other historical fiction. I rated it 5 stars. This is my first time ever being in a book club, and now that I think about it, I don't think there's been any other books selected for the book club. But if it wasn't for that book club, I would have never read this book because I had never heard of it before, and it was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. We basically follow along two young women, or like kids basically, growing up in different parts of the city. One is struggling more with poverty, and the other one comes from like wealthy family but is put in this situation where we're like they're in the same neighborhood. They become best friends, and then you just follow their lives. It is so good. I literally, as I was driving today, I saw someone randomly on the street reading this book, and I was like, oh, like, you're going to love this book. Now, this book takes place in Iran, and as I mentioned, you follow along these two girls throughout basically their entire lives, so it's many years. And this book also talks a lot about the political climate within that time period, and it's just heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking, and I think it really puts in perspective how where people may come from and grow up have different perspectives and beliefs in political views, and it's just such an eye-opening book. I would definitely recommend this book to anyone and everyone because it is so good, so beautiful, and so heartbreaking. Alright, let's talk about May. You know what I just thought about right now though? I should have like done my reading wrap up from the books that I ranking them from like favorite to least favorite. But I already started, so maybe we can do that next time because again, these are quarterly updates. I continued the series When the Coffee Gets Cold, or Before the Coffee Gets Cold actually, and I read the second book. And there's different kinds of short stories where people go to this cafe and they want to visit someone from their past, or someone that has passed away, or someone that's just not there in that moment, and they want to have that last interaction with them. And it's just, again, very similar to the first book, and I don't think I'm going to be continuing the series. This book, I did read it physically, and I owned it. I owned almost a whole series, but I gave it away. I put it in little free libraries because I don't think I was going to continue it, and I rated it 2.5 stars. The next book that I read was Just Friends by Haley Pham. I rated this book 3 stars, and it was a fun like YA romance. Nothing too special honestly, but the special part was that it's her debut novel. And I thought it'd be really fun to just pre-order it, and I did, and I was waiting for it for such a long time, and I think that waiting period made me have like such high expectations. But again, this is just someone's first book, and honestly it was pretty good. I felt like if I would have read it when I was a teenager, I would have loved it. Maybe I'm just not the target audience for it now. And then I read Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. My favorite book is still The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Such a great book. I'm so excited that it's going to come out as a movie. Anyways, this book, I listened to it as an audiobook and I rated it 3.5 stars. What stood out to me is basically like within this book, Carrie Soto is a tennis player. She is retired though, but she comes back to sort of continue on her record that she had set beforehand. Basically, there's just like a lot of competitiveness and sports talk, but it's really interesting. But what stood out to me within this book is the relationship that she has with her father. I thought that it was done like beautifully, and I feel like there's not a lot of representation within father figures in books itself. So like father figures and like daughters, and like they actually have a pretty good relationship, and I really appreciate that. So I really like that aspect of it. And then I read The Measure, which I think it was through an audiobook. I had never heard anything about this book before. It was so good. Oh my god. I think this is the dystopian book. I rated it 5 stars, and it basically takes place in New York, and a bunch of people just randomly receive boxes in their front doors with like a string, and basically that string measures the length of their life. So obviously like the whole world goes into chaos because now it's like you know when a person is going to die. And that's crazy. Like it affects relationships, people start breaking up. It affects into like politics too, sort of thinking about how like, well, do we want someone to run our like country if they're going to die in a couple of years rather than like someone that's going to be living there for like a long time? It's just so weird and like such a crazy concept, and I absolutely like this book was perfect, honestly perfect. Like there was even some sort of like plot twist at the end, and I was like, what is happening? Oh my god, it felt so real. Like I can imagine it as like a limited series. How I feel when somebody says your name. Boulevard without a break, and I want you more than any stupid song could ever say. Okay, the next book that I read was The Alchemist, and this was within the reading vlog for like New Tales from the Cafe and Just Friends. I hated this book. It was really short, but it felt like such a long time to finish it because it was so boring. It was so boring. I don't know, maybe I'm just not into like classics. I don't know if that's considered a classic, but I've always heard of The Alchemist. It was short. It's sort of like this life-changing book that like has a bunch of life lessons, and it makes you just like rethink your life and be like, oh my god, wow, like what I want is actually in front of me type of thing. And I hated it, so I rated it 1.5 stars. It's very boring for me. The next book that I read was on my Kindle, and I downloaded My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I've read other Frederick Bachman books before. They didn't really stood out to me. This one though, this one, oh my god, it was basically just like nostalgia in a book, and every single time I opened the book it made me sob, like I was crying, no idea why. And I don't react like this to books. I absolutely like devoured this book up. It follows, oh my god, it has a couple of point of views, but we follow certain like friend group throughout their like last summer as kids, and then we sort of have this future perspective that's like going on currently with this new teenager who just ran away from a foster home, and she met with like one of the kids from like this friend group, and it's just so beautiful. I want to cry already. I recommended this book to my friend Miriam, and she's reading it. I think she's liking it, but she's like, what part made you cry? And I'm like, all the parts. All the parts made me cry. The last book that I read in May was Old Enough. I rated this book 3 stars, and I actually bought it from Barnes & Noble for my birthday like 2 years ago, I think, and I DNF'd it, and then I continued to read it this year again, and I really liked it. I think I finished that book in less than like 24 hours. I binged it. It was good. It was entertaining. There was a lot going on, and I'm happy that I continued the book because, yeah, I don't know why I DNF'd it. I just wasn't really into it, I guess. But it was like an average book. Layla is going to join us for our final month of a wrap-up. I love you. You smell like coconut and dog. Okay, so for the last month, it is June, and we are in June, but it's going to end. And by the time you see this, it'll probably be July already. But I read 4 books. I read Magic Lessons, which was a recommendation by my coworker, and I really appreciate like book recommendations because I love talking about books. I just get really nervous when I'm talking about books in front of people. I rated it 2.5 stars, and it's because I feel like this book itself was very character driven, and I feel like I'm not the kind of person that truly enjoys character driven books. I like more of a plot. Like, give me something, give me conflict, give me drama, give me something. And I think this book itself was like a cozy, but like bad things happen, so maybe not cozy. And basically it talked a lot about potions and like witchy stuff, and it took place like in the 1800s or something like that, within like the witch trials. I may be really wrong within that timeline, but that's basically the vibe of the book. The following book that I read was The Homemade God, which I got from the library, and I was in a hurry trying to finish this book because I wanted to return it back to the library, and I really enjoyed this book. It was after I had read My Friends, and I picked this book up because there was an artist within this book as well, and like a certain painting that people were trying to find, and it gave me the same similar vibes as My Friends, but the books were vastly different, like very, very different. We follow along like 3 different siblings and their relationship with their dad, and their dad recently passes away, but he had like married someone and they don't know who this is, so it's like this mystery aspect to it. It was a good book. I don't know if I told you what I rated it, but I rated it 3 stars. And the following book that I read was The Sirens. Now, it's from the same author that wrote Wayward, not the show that I was talking about. It's like a different book, like a witchy book, and I really love that book. And I read The Sirens, and I'll still read more from Amelia Hart, but this book wasn't really for me. It was entertaining, but I felt like I just wanted more. It was supposed to be about sirens and mermaids and like this like magical realism. I don't know. I wanted to give me H2O, and it gave me dark Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm kidding. I actually really like Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know, maybe it was like the time that I was trying to read this book, and it was also a library book, so maybe I was trying to like just rush it. I don't know. I feel like I would have liked this book, but it was okay. I rated it 2.5. And the last book that I read was Where Sleeping Girls Lie, and it was so good. Another 5 stars. So many 5-star books. Okay, I really like this book. Sorry, my camera died, so I needed a little bit of a break. Yes, oh my god, I feel like I've already been blabbing about this book if you saw my last video, so I won't say too much about it, but if you like Harry Potter, if you like Pretty Little Liars, if you like Wednesday, you'll like this book, I think. It's really good. Oh my god, like all the plot twists, amazing. Overall, I had how many 5-star reads? I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4 5-star reads in the span of 3 months. That's crazy. If I had to rank those 5-star books, just those 4 books, for those 4 books that were 5 stars, I would rank number 1 as My Friends, and then number 2 would be Where Sleeping Girls Lie, number 3 would be The 4 Winds, and number 4 would be The Measure. But again, these are my top 5, like my top 4 books of these 3 months. So overall, if you want to read any of these books, I recommend these, the ones that I gave 5 stars, and they're very different, honestly, different vibes. So if you end up reading one of these, let me know what you thought. Okay, is it a 5-star book for you too? Is it not? I don't know, let me know. If you stayed to the very end, thank you very much for watching this video. I know it was all over the place, my camera kept dying. Hopefully I'm able to get a new camera that actually I can just sit down and talk, because it just heats up. But I mean, I just love it. That's the only camera I have. But thank you so much for watching. What books did you read? How many books did you read? And if you read any of my 5-star reads, let me know down below. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.